YouTube, what's up? It's your boy Tito Barber coming back at you with another haircut tutorial. In this video, I'm going to be doing a classic comb over with a mid-skin fade. I like to begin every cut by brushing or combing out my client's hair. Shout out to Steel Tooth Comb for this dope comb. There's going to be a link in the description. The reason why I choose to comb or brush out the hair is I just like to get everything to lay in its natural direction. That way it's easier to cut and I get a clear visual of what needs to take place. So now I'm going to take my trimmer and I'm going to begin to set my first guide, which is going to be my bald guideline. So now that my bald guideline has been set, I'm now going to take my foil shaver and I'm going to completely bald it out. You're going to notice that when I get towards the top of the guide, I use that flick out motion, and that's because I'm trying to demonstrate a clean transition from smooth to stubble, because that's going to help my blend pop later. You're also going to notice that after I bald out everything, the little bit of length that I did leave from the flick out area towards the top of that guide, I take the foil shaver and I dab downwards on it. And all that really does is it removes any heavy looking weight that might have been left behind when I was using that flick out motion. Alright, so now that I got them completely balded out, I'm going to take my Wahl magic clip with my lever open and I'm going to begin to set my first guideline. I'm giving myself about an inch, maybe slightly under it, because there's not a whole lot of room to work with here. But once I set that guideline in with the lever open, I'll now close my lever and I'll begin to fade from the bottom of that guide towards the top of that guide. And little by little, I'm going to open my lever and go up. And every time I do that, I'm going to notice that my guide's moving up with me, but that's okay because that's exactly what I'm looking for. By the time I open my lever, maybe by the third or fourth notch, that guide will be completely blended out. So for a lot of you that do follow me, I did just drop a video of this Wahl magic clip, and I actually have two of them. I run one with the original stagger tooth blade, that's the one I'm using now, and then I run the taper blade. I only use the stagger tooth fade blade when I'm going from that bald guideline to the lever open, or if I'm doing clipper over comb, I like to use the fade blade with the lever open. Anything above the lever open, I do use the taper blade, and you're gonna see me use that in the next clip. Alright, so now I'm gonna swap out to my taper blade and I'm gonna throw on the Wahl #1 color guard, and I'm gonna come in with the lever open and I'm gonna set my next guideline, giving myself the same amount of space that I just gave myself with the previous guide. So once my guideline has been set, I'm now going to close my lever and I'm going to begin to fade from the bottom of that guide back up towards the top of that guide where I just left off with the lever open. I'm going to keep in mind that the one's not going to completely remove itself right here. It is going to leave some weight behind, and that's why I'm going to come through with my Wahl half color guard right now, and right where I'm showing you, I'm going to clean up that weight that was left behind using the fade process. But this time I'm going to fade downwards, closing my lever as needed until that guide's completely blended out. Alright, now that my blend's coming together, I'm going to prep his hair for clipper over comb. And what I mean by that is I'm just basically going to wet and recomb the hair. Again, shout out to Steel Tooth Comb for this dope comb you see me using. And I like to wet the hair and comb it out again because I feel like it gives me a little more control. So when I come in with my lever open on my magic clip with the fade blade and my comb, it's easier for me to see exactly where the hair is laying. So when I cut it, I got a good idea of exactly how the hair is gonna lay after I cut it. So I'm just coming in, and basically all I'm trying to do right here is I'm trying to bring the fade into the top of the hair. I know some weight's gonna be left behind, and that's okay because I'm gonna clean it up. I'm just trying to remove the bulk and connect it the best that I can right now. Alright, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my Wahl 1.5 premium guard with the lever open, and I'm gonna begin to do my detail work. And what I'm really trying to do here is remove any of the weight and dark spots that was left behind from my clipper over comb. So after I come in with the lever open and I attack the dark spots, I then close my lever as needed and I continue to attack them. Alright, so I'm going to continue to do my detail work, but now I'm going to come in with the Wahl #1 color guard. And again, I always come in with the lever open and I fade down and close my lever as needed. So all I'm doing is coming in, I'm continuing to attack them dark spots. I'm just trying to get my blend to come together as neatly as possible and, you know, make it blurry. So now I'm going to get into my shear work, and right here what I'm going to do is just basic cutting. And what I mean by that is there's nothing fancy, I'm not going to do any texture, none of that. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up the front part of his hair, and I'm going to make this first cut that you see me do right here in the center of his head. And I'm actually going to use that first cut as a guide throughout this whole haircut. So once I cut it in the center, I'll then work my way to the left and then work my way to the right. After I clear out that first section, I'll pull back a little bit of the hair right behind that first guide that I set in the initial fringe or bang area. I'll pull it back and I'll pull a little of that first guide to help me start off on my next guide that I'm setting. And then I'll work my way towards the right, work my way towards the left, and I'll continue to do that throughout the whole haircut. So there's really not a lot more to explain. So while I got your ear for a minute, I just want to say shout out to Tito Beats for these dope beats that you're hearing in your ear. Make sure you guys go give his channel a like, a subscribe, and let him know that your boy Anthem Barber sent you. Alright, so what you're going to see me do right here is prep his front lineup area. And I don't know what these little things are called, but they're actually kind of useful. And basically what I'm doing is I'm using those to separate the hair from the lineup area. And before you guys roast me in the comment section about why I chose to do this lineup on him, this isn't my regular client. Granted, I do cut him anytime he comes to my town, but we don't live in the same area right now. We're like 3 hours apart. So what you're seeing me do right here is I'm cleaning up another barber's work. What I mean by that is I may not have necessarily selected this type of lineup for him if I was his regular barber. I didn't film the razor work. Again, it's awkward because I don't have a chair that lays back, but here's a look at the final cut. If you guys got anything useful out this, I ask that you smash that like button. If you're new to my channel, I suggest you stick around. It's only gonna get doper from here. I appreciate y'all. Be blessed and be a blessing. I'm out.